have numerous prayers of one sort and another. And if you grow up Catholic, you will probably, even now at this late date, you may have experienced what a litany is. But if you're not Catholic, you may not. And those of you who do not will learn something new today. But anyway, in this book, I've created this narrator who is actually slightly naive, which is what you kind of, I mean, at least that's how you would do in a memoir, because here you're an old person writing about this young person, and she's telling the story, and I wanted the reader to be able to try to experience this, and so, but anyway, one of the ways I tried to create a possibility of getting inside her head, this bashful, musical, prairie kid who was raised by horses, is I use poetry, and so there are bits of poetry in the book that kind of help you glimpse what's going on inside her, and I also make use of liturgical prayer forms and bits of the Bible. So she's starting to wonder about this, and so she starts to have inside her a little litany going on. Now you're going to have your part here. I'm not going to read all this, but I'll try to pick and choose. So it's called Hear This Prayer. And your first answer, which I'll get you to come back at with me with, is, "Oh Lord, deliver us."
Just like that. Yes.
Oh God on the earth, graciously hear my prayer. Oh God of everywhere, hear me now. 1. From Sister Agatha, flicking the overhead light and screaming, "Lumen Christi," at the freezing crack of dawn. Oh Lord, deliver us. From struggling to get out of bed and habited on time and stumbling our way to chapel down the cold, dark halls. Oh Lord, deliver us. From cantors who can't sing, leading our chanting through the hours of the day all week long. Oh Lord, deliver us. From Sister Mechtil sniffing in her prissy music lessons. Oh Lord, deliver us. From never going anywhere except in a nun herd that gets stared at by everyone. Oh Lord, deliver us. From tiptoeing around Sister Agatha's rules and wondering half the time what in fact they are. Oh Lord, deliver us. 2. Your answer here is going to be, "Oh God, make haste to help us." From the weekly chapter of faults and having to think up bad behaviors that are bad enough to confess, but not too bad. Oh God, make haste to help us. From the sometimes creepy heaviness of the rule of grand silence. Oh God, make haste to help us. From getting tired of living on this hot mountaintop with its noisy cities and highways below. Oh God, make haste to help us. From missing the horses and cows and dogs and cats and rabbits on the ranch and the forests and all the kids and mom and dad. Oh God, make haste to help us. From that sinking stone in the water plunk. Do I really have a vocation for this? Oh God, make haste to help us. All ye battalions of angels and archangels, orders of blessed spirits, virgins and widows, monks and hermits, saints and holy people, and all good creatures of the world, graciously intercede and come to our aid. Part 4. For singing, your answer here is thanks be to God. For singing the divine office several times a day and bowing and chanting for all the mealtime table prayers.
Thanks be to God.
For the beautifully swooshing floor polishers as they gleam up the corridors with overlapping circles of shine.
Thanks be to God.
For the library where Miss Pitcairn lets me stack all the books I want on the corner table. Thanks be to God. For the gap through the broken fence to the windy, gnarly trees at the top edge of the golf course. Thanks be to God. Okay, then it goes on a little bit more, but I'll just do the last few. For my guitar and banjo that I can pick and strum if I finish my duties and studies before Vespers.
Thanks be to God.
For the lovely rhythms of each ordered day, even if I feel a pinch now and again.
Thanks be to God.
For a little guidance in figuring out how to help myself make this thing work. Thanks be to God. Amen.